It is great to have you with us here on RT International. I'm Rory Souchet, and it's been a busy night for all of our teams in Sochi. Fireworks, artistic flair, and some of the world's finest athletes. The 2014 Sochi Olympics have officially opened with a spectacular ceremony marking the start of Russia's first ever Winter Games. RT's Paul Scott was there for us.
After a 7-year wait, the 2014 Sochi Winter Olympics are finally underway. They started in style with a spectacular opening ceremony. 40,000 people were packed inside the Fished Stadium in the coastal cluster, and they were treated to a high-tech pyrotechnic display, a condensed journey through Russian history. There was a nod to Russian industry and to Russian culture, what Russia has given the world over the years in the terms of art and literature, for example, a nod to Tolstoy's War and Peace. And there was also an acknowledgement of Peter the Great, the time that that Russia became a great naval power. And then it all concluded with the lighting of the Olympic cauldron. It was the climax of the journey for the Olympic torch relay. 65,000 kilometres it has travelled, and it is finally in the Fished Stadium, meaning the 2014 Sochi Winter Olympics are open. Now, for the hundreds of fans who were unlucky enough not to get their hands on a ticket, they were able to gather, thousands in fact, in the various live sites in and around the Sochi region and watch the events such as the opening ceremony on a large screen, leading to a real sense of community and heightened atmosphere in and around Sochi. Now, the first events have already got underway before the start of the opening ceremony, but the first medals are actually decided later on Saturday. Medal events decided up in the mountains, and the gold medals, the first ones of the 2014 Sochi Winter Olympics, will be handed out later on Saturday. Not in the coastal cluster, but up in the mountains. And it means, at long, long last, the talking can finally be done by the athletes.
RT's Paul Scott right there. Now, many have wondered whether a resort city with a subtropical climate could be too hot to handle winter sports competitions. Now, journalist and broadcaster Neil Clark, he kept a close eye on the 2012 Summer Games in London. He told us why he thinks weather won't be an issue in Sochi.
I think when we talk about being subtropical, I mean, Sochi isn't Miami, it isn't Africa. I think the average temperature there in February is about 9 degrees Celsius, so we've got to get this into perspective, really. Many people will be thinking that Sochi is some sort of very, very tropical, very warm place. And of course, we've had problems in Winter Olympics before with very high temperatures or mild temperatures. Let's think back to Vancouver, where it wasn't in a subtropical place, but the temperatures were quite high. There was rain, snow had to be brought in. Even going back to, I think, 1928, the speed skating had to be abandoned because of the mild weather. So I don't think the subtropical thing is such a big problem, really, as has been made out. I think Sochi is a very accessible place. And I think that once you decide that the Games should have gone to Russia, which I think we all agree it should have gone because Russia hadn't held them before, I think Sochi was a good place to hold them.
And the Olympic flames finally lit in Sochi after an historic journey all across Russia. A 65,000-kilometre trek saw the Olympic torch cover previously uncharted territory. The flame went to the North Pole. It scaled Europe's highest mountain, it plunged into the world's deepest lake, and even embarked on a space odyssey. Around 14,000 torchbearers helped make the trip possible. A 101-year-old man becoming the oldest to do the honors in Siberia. And Vidar Ellersten served as a consultant for the Sochi Olympic torch relay team, told us that it provided inspiration for the younger generation.
For me, the Olympic flame is, of course, a symbol of the Olympic values, and it's basically the message that Games are going to be held in Sochi, and people from all over the world will come together in peace and friendship. But for me, the most impressive is every kid you see on the road, every minute you pass with the flame, and see the light of the torch in their eyes and how it can inspire them to Olympic values and sport. And that's really been what's impressed me the most. And the smiles of the kids here has been as amazing as the smiles in Vancouver or London or Lillehammer, where I started working on torch relay. So I'm very, very happy about the result.
All right, let's turn to slightly more serious matters at the Games. Sochi is a huge sporting event with over 1 million people in attendance, and of course security is understandably a major concern. Top Russian officials have reiterated that everything is being done to guarantee the safety of athletes and spectators, especially trained personnel being backed by top-notch military equipment, with security being provided from the air, the sea and on the ground. RT's Martin Andrew has this story.
Air defence missiles. drones, sophisticated sonars capable of detecting submarines, and high-speed patrol boats. A vast array of high-tech gear is being deployed to make Sochi one of the safest places on Earth. With any global event, security is the #1 priority, and no expense is being spared to achieve that end at the 2014 Winter Olympics. A ring of steel is in place around the city, and no one, from residents to workers, can enter without an official pass. But it's a case of high visibility and minimal fuss.
Many of the athletes have been saying that back home they saw very negative media coverage about the Sochi Olympic Village. Some were even afraid to come here. But when they arrived, they started wondering what all the bad press was about and were very impressed by what's going on here. They say there is much less hassle and discomfort, especially when it comes to security checks compared to previous games.
But it's not just about tighter controls and manpower. Police officers are undergoing extra training for mounted patrols that have distinct advantages at such events.
We were called here ahead of the games. Mounted police are more effective during mass events. Officers tower over the people and have a better view of the crowds.
The beefed-up security, including assistance from the US government, is primed to keep a protective eye on locals and visitors more than ever before. I've come to the Sochi Police Department to discover a new way of multilingual public communication, policing and security. This is new 3D virtual technology, which is going to be placed soon at various public locations in Sochi. Although it could never replace real officers on the street, it's an experiment that could prove extremely useful to the future of public assistance. So you found a suspicious object. Let's see what our virtual police officer says you should do.
You should immediately call the police and maintain a distance from the object.
Popular already in helping at transport and commercial help spots. If our digital public servant friend here is seen as a success after Sochi, expect to see many more 3D virtual assistants dotted around other Russian cities. Almost 500 Cossacks, warriors of Russian law, will also be on duty at various Olympic locations. With their traditional black hats and coats with epaulettes, they will be on standby to assist the police.
Cossacks have been guarding Russian borders for centuries. We're traditionally based in southern Russia. We know the region and its people very well.
A Cossack's job is to offer assistance, spread safety, culture and peace to various religions and people from different countries. A Cossack normally patrols without any weapons. They can only stop a crime in progress, and they can only call the police and wait for the authorities to arrive. So as the population of this Black Sea resort swells by the thousand, whether it's sniffer dogs or horses, patrol boats or Cossacks, Sochi's visitors and locals are certainly in good hands. And with an estimated 100,000 police, security services and armed troops here, the aim is to ensure that these will be the safest Olympics in history. Martin Andrews, RT, Sochi.
Now, we did have a chance to discuss the Sochi security with Steven Seagal, the philanthropist, diplomat, martial arts master, Hollywood actor. He says there's no reason to doubt the efficiency of the measures taken.
I would agree with some of the folks who are saying that Sochi is probably one of the safest places around right now. And I think the world, you know, and all of the different countries that are participating in the Olympics are all very concerned about trying to make this a wonderful experience, and everybody's cooperating and working hard in their own prospective areas. And I think that as a world, we all support each other to try to make any Olympics anywhere in the world a secure, wonderful event where politics are kept out of it.
Well, the sporting venues in Sochi have been divided into two so-called clusters. Up in the mountains, that's where they're sitting the first-class bobsleigh, luge and skeleton tracks, as well as the ski facilities and a massive snowball park as well. While the coastal cluster hosts state-of-the-art stadiums, arenas, ice rinks built from scratch just to host the indoor competitions. There are also 3 Olympic villages accommodating the almost 6,000 strong athletes and coaches. Let's hear from one of them.
Everything is small, you know, the village, and everything is close. The iceberg, the ice rink is close to the Olympic village, so we can go by walk, and there is not a lot big security, so we feel free and we feel confident.
Seems like they're going to put on a good show here in Russia. Like, the scale of the course is insane. So far I'm pretty impressed. This town seems really nice, the village up top is really nice, and everyone seems really friendly, so excited to be here.
Well, in general, I think that Russians are very enthusiastic about sport and about the Olympics, so I expect them to play great host to the world, and so far what I've seen has been very impressive. And I can't wait to get down to the venues and see the competition begin.
Well, our visitors to the Sochi Winter Olympics are sure to receive a very warm welcome. The stuffed trio, a polar bear, a leopard and a hare, will be among those greeting and entertaining the athletes, journalists and spectators. But fear not, these four-legged animals are the official mascots for these Olympics. They were chosen after a national television vote in 2011. Some 24,000 options were submitted back then. And the driving force behind the Games, it's the volunteers who are ensuring a comfortable stay for all the guests.
I was lucky enough that I live in Moscow, so I had a face-to-face interview, and then you just wait. And finally, in October, I heard, and I was pretty excited because it really is a great opportunity. I was doing some interviewing for the international volunteers and also helping with the visa process for them as well. So, and then just getting really excited about it all. I've got the Olympic bug anyway, so I was looking forward to it for such a long time.
There's always a fly in the ointment, though. In the run-up to the Sochi Winter Olympics, Russia's ban on gay propaganda, well, it stirred up a lot of hype in the international media. It came into force in Russia last year, causing huge uproar among the LGBT community worldwide. Caitlin Cahal, an ice hockey player representing the US, says she has no concerns over her security coming to Sochi as an openly gay athlete.
I'll be representing the United States with pride as an openly gay citizen. So while that may lead to a bit of controversy, I don't have any questions about my own safety. I think that within the boundaries of the Olympic Games, the spirit is positive and optimistic and open-minded, and I'm hoping to share that same experience along with the spectators and citizens of Russia. What I really hope we all see in Russia is the dedication and devotion not only of the Russian people to put on an extraordinary Winter Olympic Games, and I have every reason to expect that this Olympic Games will be exceptional in every way, but also to the volunteers on the ground. That's what makes the Olympics possible, the devotion of the volunteers, their sacrifice, their support. By far and away, they're the most important part of the Olympic Games.
Though the Olympic Games, it's not just all about sports. Top fashion designers worldwide have put all their efforts into making the teams look extra sharp. RT's Andrew Farmer tells us just how colourful the Sochi Olympics will be.
Before these Olympics even began, they were breaking records. They are the most expensive. They will have the most number of athletes and will have the most number of medals up for grabs. But in my opinion, they could also be remembered for being the most colourful. This is the tracksuit for the volunteers, if you get my drift. And that's just for starters. The German athletes have turned up in these eye-popping garments, kaleidoscopic toggle coats, and their trousers aren't exactly toning down the outfit. The American athletes got Ralph Lauren to design theirs, a dazzling cardigan the result, a knitted patchwork of stars and stripes and big pockets. Then there's the bold pants of the Norwegian men's curling team, a sort of zigzag homage to their country's flag. And I haven't even mentioned the Mexican skier. You might not see Prince Hubertus on the podium, but you won't miss him on the slopes. His ski suit resembles a bolero jacket and tuxedo. Striking costumes for striking gold. They are literally the game's brightest talents. Andrew Farmer for RT, Sochi.
And people around the globe gathered around TV sets to view the Sochi Winter Games opening ceremony, a truly inspiring spectacle. But in a month's time, another sports event, arguably even more uplifting, is set to take place. We're talking about the Paralympics. RT spoke to Javier Gonzalez, head of the International Paralympic Committee. He believes that the event has a huge positive impact on people's attitudes towards disabled people.
We are going to see some of the best athletes in the world doing things that many people doesn't believe that a person with an impairment can do. And really, I think that everybody that will have the opportunity to attend the Games and see the Games will see a fantastic sport and will be very excited, but also at the same time inspired by seeing people with an impairment performing at the highest level. And again, we want to see also that this games has an effect, a positive effect in the attitudes of people in Russia towards people with an impairment.
And during the Olympics, RT will provide extended coverage of the Games for you. You can follow us for the latest sport news, predictions and, of course, reactions.